Hi guys, and welcome back to the 92 Diaries. We are your hosts. My name is Juliet.
It's your girl, Miss Chardz.
And Fee.
All right. So, today we are talking about Love Island. Fair enough, actually, it's not too tough going to be about Love Island, but we're talking about the issue of self-sabotage and relationships. So, for some context, people who don't watch Love Island out there, I don't know what planet you're living on. In Miss Chardz right there.
Yeah, I live on the moon, fam. I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be watching other people's lives. I got my own to live.
She's
sorry.
the moons people. She's the moons people.
Good quality trash TV is my drug. So anyway, so we're talking about this girl Yewande. She is in a coupling with a guy called Danny, and basically he seems to be genuinely interested in her, and she wasn't giving him the time of day in the episode prior to what we're talking about now. And she was like, yeah, he's not making enough effort. I don't want to constantly talking about my feelings. I don't want to constantly have to reassure him. And then when a new girl comes in now, sis wants to start acting brand new. Be like, oh, wow. He didn't want to come and say hi to me after the date. Anyway, lo and behold, she's now, and even her girl, I think Anna was asking her but you do care though, kind of thing, when she tries to act she didn't care.
Oh, I love that.
Try and act like you don't care, yeah? Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about the fact that when it comes to relationships, sometimes us girls tend to self-sabotage things that seem to be going well. Mm-hmm. And I want to understand, why does that happen? So have you guys got any thoughts?
This
giggle. This giggle.
Two things spring to mind. Either you feel insecure, or you feel that you have somehow done something in your life to date that warrants that you don't deserve some form of happiness. Okay. Those are the two ways that I see it. I feel like a majority of the time it is insecurity. I think watching Yewande, it is more insecurity. She's going more off I don't want to get hurt again, but it's like, girl, nothing worth having. You gotta sacrifice a little. You gotta feel a little bit of pain. Do you know what I mean? And it might not even be. Yeah, it might be that he's not genuine, but just enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? No one said he's gonna come tomorrow to then sell goats to your dad. Do you know what I mean? You're still getting to know each other. Just enjoy the process of getting to know him. Show that you're interested. There's nothing wrong with that. Fine, that might not be your thing, but just enjoy it. Don't always be thinking, oh, when's the other shoe gonna drop? It's too good to be true. Sometimes just enjoy the process.
I think I agree with the fact that you need to enjoy it. Live every moment in its moment. Do you know what I mean? Live every moment as it is. But I think I slightly understand women who self-sabotage situations, because it's setting yourself up for a disappointment. I'm not saying that everybody in life is going to disappoint you, but 95% of people are going to disappoint you in some form of fashion, right? In some form of fashion. That's what it is. And it's if you keep your expectations up, so high, which does come with enjoying the moment and being oh, maybe there is a this, or maybe there is a that, you then get disappointed at some point when it does not, even if it goes far, when it does not work out, or something. So when shit hits the fan, you then get disappointed and you get heartbroken. So it's almost like a barrier, or building a wall. So they're oh, I ain't shit. Do you know what I
mean? Build
a wall. they're on the verge of it ain't shit kind of thing, to kind of dampen what the situation is, and as a result, dampen their emotions in reflective sense, and so and therefore the whatever happens doesn't hurt as much. So it is more like a defense mechanism to self-sabotage than it is. But I wouldn't call it I wouldn't say the full extent of self-sabotaging, but I would say downplaying a situation is for protective purposes.
Yeah.
In terms of self-sabotaging, I think both women and guys do it, and I know you guys have used Love Island as an example, specifically Yewande, blah blah blah, but both females and guys do it. And I feel yes, some of it is part of their past experience, having been through a similar situation, or what they think is similar, and being this was the result, so it's only going to turn out like that anyway, therefore what's the point? So they self-sabotage. And then some people actually use it as a testing mechanism. So it's like, I'm going to self-sabotage as much as possible. If you can pull through at the end of the day, then I know it's real, you know?
But then that's not fair, though.
It's not.
Like, to what?
not fair.
Yeah, no. Like, to what end am I going to be
I didn't
jumping
say it
through
was.
hula hoops? What is this, Ninja Warrior? I ain't got time for that.
I feel like this is the thing. I feel like sometimes when some people are hurt in relationships, they do take it out on their partner, and that's completely unfair. Because I think, if you have stuff that you need to get through your shit before you bring that into your next relationship. Because it's not fair on your next partner, whether you are a man or woman, for you to be putting that on them because you got hurt. That's not their business. I can't lie. And I feel like I get it. Fair enough. Everyone's going to come with baggage, but you can't be bringing old relationship baggage to your current relationship. It's not fair on them. Yeah. And to be honest, it's not even fair on you, because you're doing yourself a disservice, bringing your shit that's going to ruin your new happiness because you can't do the self-work to get over it. Like,
or come to terms with that. Yeah, I know. It's sad.
But everybody does it, and part of baggage is part of your past relationships. At the end of the day, what makes you, the experiences you've gone through, which includes your relationships. Therefore, your baggage as a person does include your past relationships. It is what you have made out of those situations, including your relationships or any other experience, work, I don't know, family experiences, so on and so forth. Whatever you've made out of that and incorporated into your personality that makes you is part of your baggage. So to say that, you know, you want to select the baggage, be real selective here, and say, you know, you have to leave relationship baggage outside and only bring your personal baggage, they're fused together, bubble. What you see is what you get, and that's part of people's baggages. However, I do agree that you do have to deal with certain shit, like, especially if it's like trust. If trust is your issue, I'm not saying there's a fair amount of people that are not trust. Whatever I'm gonna just say that, I'm putting that out there, but you can't not trust everyone. Do you know what I mean? You have to at least try.
To some extent.
To some extent. It's give and take. And I always start off, well, personally, I'm not saying it's been the most successful method, but I kind of give a 50-50. If you're a new person, you start off with 50% trust and 50% distrust. You then either increase or you decrease. That's the way I see it. Like, so I know.
It's actually mad. It's actually mad. You're now giving percentages straight from the get-go.
Chardz is making it into a game.
No, now come and actually say something wrong.
Level up or level down.
Literally should be like, you're now a 49? 49. All right, then. You know what? Okay, we're talking about 38 now. 38. I've had enough of you. It's like, okay. Oh,
okay. Baby, you start them off on a level playing field. Level playing field, that's what I call it. It's level playing field. And then from there, 50-50, zero is a level playing field. And then you either increase or you decrease based on your behavior or interaction or whatever you do.
I can actually imagine Chardz on, like, at home. She now brings out her she'll now come with her whiteboard. And
with that long pen, you know, that long pen that you have to extend.
And you know what? She'll now be pushing up those glasses with no lenses. Come on, we're now coming to read the board.
I'll put my glasses out right now for y'all. Let's get real serious real quick. Yeah, level playing field. That's why I feel like you need to give people a chance. You can't start them off on 0%. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have no trust for anybody in the world, and anything you do you have to give them some. And then from there, they either build it or they lose it. And I'm not saying that generally has to be 50-50, but I think that's fair enough. You don't know this person, you don't know anything about this person. You don't know their history. Given your history, there's some things that may contradict, there's some things that may match up, so on and so forth. Giving them a level playing field to start off with, it makes sense. You either build or you decrease. And then from there, you know where you're going. You make decisions.
You and your pie charts, bruv.
You get some people that are just genuinely used to fuckboy movement, and when someone genuine comes along, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, this is the thing, and I feel like that's where the whole issue with her bringing her baggage unnecessarily is an issue for me, because I feel like because you have suffered in the past, it's like you know, people joke with guys how they got heartbroken when they were 15 and now they hate women forever. It's kind of I can't even lie, some girls will do the same thing. Like, they'll get heartbroken when they were like 15 in one relationship now,
and you're carrying that all the way onto your grown 30.
I don't think, to be honest, you don't even have to be 15. I feel like you may actually just experience something so strong or so what is so intense for you as a person. Maybe you've come close to loving someone, or you actually love them. And I mean, not infatuation, but for those who actually know the meaning of love, by the way, you've actually come close, or you have actually loved someone, and that person has hurt you. I get it. Like, it hurts so much to be able to heal from that. It doesn't take 2 seconds. It doesn't take 6 months. It doesn't take 2 years sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It takes a while to overcome that. But you have to work on yourself, and along the way, not drag people down with you.
Yeah.
So whilst you're hurt and whilst you're healing, I've heard the term, sorry for a listener, but I've heard the term, I'm not trying to bleed on people who have not caused me to bleed. Yeah, which is, it's great that you acknowledge that, but what are your actions saying along the way? Are you still pouring out blood on people that have not caused the pain in the first place, or not caused the injury? You by actually acknowledging your situation is one thing, or acknowledging how you feel, acknowledging your faults, your flaws, or, you know, wherever you default, acknowledging that is one thing, but acting on it and being mindful of your actions is another thing. If you're in a place where you cannot physically feel love or something for someone, don't let someone, like I say, don't encourage someone to love you.
You know,
because
what's
all it does is cause pain to that person, and you say you don't want to do that in the first place, but i.e. you've just done it.
You know, I feel like it's quite sad though at the same time, like to like kind of be like, yeah, you should just be doing this and that. I feel like at the same time, it's actually quite difficult if you're not aware how deep your issues really run. Because I feel like sometimes, like we mentioned like mindfulness and being self-aware and stuff, but I think when it comes to relationship baggage, sometimes some of us anyway, we can underestimate how much certain things have affected us, and that might not even just be past romantic relationships. You could be talking about trauma back from when our families were together, if your parents got divorced, if you were seeing unhealthy relationships all your life, all of that stuff will add up to trauma. And when you're in a new relationship and you're looking at somebody sideways, you might have no idea why you're looking at them sideways. All you know is that they are looking very weird from the side. That's all you know. But you don't know.
They are looking very weird from the side, or you have to be looking at them weird from the side. Like,
it's like you don't know where that comes from, because you've never done that. You've never kind of been made aware of that issue before, and I feel like that's another sort of
to do it.
Yeah, so it's like you won't even know that you know what, you might not even know you're self-sabotaging, because all you know is this particular point in your life. This is how you know how to react. You don't know anything else. You've never been told anything else.
Yeah. But it does come down to dealing with your ish. Do you know what I mean? And I think people need to take more responsibility in dealing with this. Being more self-aware is number one. Like, stop going around blaming the world for stuff that you have experienced or is happening in your life. Granted, shit happens, period. Guess what? That's life. Move on. Like, take control of it and stop relying on the world to fix it. Like, you are the person who is experiencing it. This is your life. This is you in this situation. You need to take charge and deal with it and handle that shit. Take responsibility. Be self-aware of who you are and what you are going through, your feelings. Sometimes take a break from people and actually reflect on yourself and reflect on where you are, where you want to go, and what you've been through. I think people that don't even go forward are people who cannot reflect on the past, who just be like, I'm present, but you won't acknowledge your past. I'm not saying don't live in your past, but acknowledge it. Acknowledge it and learn to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
No. So then I've got a question now then.
Yeah.
You know, like when you go on a date with someone,
Yeah.
and then you obviously start talking and be like, oh, so like why are you single now? Or
I hate that.
So what's happened in your past relationships? Is it just me, or is that me?
I think
is that you asking me to declare if I'm gonna self-sabotage this or not? Is that my inadvertent like condition that?
No, I think it's a valid question. I think it's a valid question.
So I'm watching you from the side with my side eye, wondering why you're looking.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? It's like the way someone has handled a previous relationship, or depending on what they have gone through, or the way they handled it, it gives you some insight to who that person is. And the situation may not be the same, it may not be different. But remember in one of the other podcasts, I said, if someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. And
Case of the X.
oh, girl, yeah, y'all need to tune into that one because that was something. I'm sorry it was long, but it was something. Okay, we learned some shit in that. Anyway, it's a situation where if you learn about somewhat previous relationships or how, especially their last one, whether it was really long term or short term or whatever, ended or what really happened, there was you kind of if you're intelligent, like I say, you will identify why they got with that person in the first place. That gives you a clue on the person they are and what they're looking for.
You're really doing detective on dates, isn't it?
Fam, straight to the point. Serious questions only. Anyway,
I'm really here. Like, what do you do for fun? Like some dickhead.
Oh my god.
Two, preliminary questions to get you
it gives you a bit of insight as to how the relationship went and maybe what their issues were in the relationship and whether that might be issues that you will experience if you were to engage with this person. And then three,
I'm actually clocking. I'm not a serious candidate. You're asking all these questions. I'm shit, bro.
Hold on. I'm saying this is the information you gather from asking somebody about their past or about their past relationship.
Not that you actually have to.
Not that you actually have to ask these questions the way I'm asking them. But I'm saying this is the things you kind of gather from asking that question, like what happened in the previous relationship, as open as possible. But the way they come across, the way they explain it, these are the sort of information you gather. So number 3, how it ended. So you kind of know where this person's boundaries are in a sense, or maybe what they're capable of. So let's say assume it ended on a cheating situation. You're like, okay, right, okay, you're capable of that. Needs to be a bit mindful because I'm just gonna throw it out there. Once a cheater, always a cheater.
Mindful.
I'm sorry.
It's a red flag, sis.
That's what I'm saying. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If that's in your nature, or I slipped and it fell, no, stop it. Just like pineapples, like do you know, it's like. It's dumb, and I know that it may stop people from like wanting to be truthful or admitting, the full truth. But honey, if that's you at the end of the day, that's you. Just be real. Like I believe in making an informed decision, as I said previously as well. And making an informed decision. If that person is not with you for who you are in your entirety, you are living a fake life. So you're only fooling yourself. Honestly,
this is gonna sound really rude, but it's just like if I ask you like, oh, have you ever cheated before? You always get onto the stupid questions, and then obviously you're like, no, I've never cheated, and we're like, oh, I've cheated one time, but I was I'm just a bit like, at that point, I've already written you off. You're just good time guy. You are good time guy. I'm not even. It's a subconscious thing.
I'm about to leave. What do you mean?
It's not even like I'm just trying to. I'm not saying that you can't change your ways or anything, but I'm just like I've already. That's like, like that's. I can't. You're still at 50%, but you're still at 50%, but it's leading towards 48 now. It's like it's just leading.
You drop down. You don't drop down to 45, child.
She's at 45. She's now broke 5% on the pie chart.
I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Those kind of things. It's like. I get that you've admitted it, and I respect your declaration. I do, but
you're lying and you don't. You're Xing them out already.
No. Yeah. I respect the fact that you're honest enough, is what I'm saying. But like in my mind, I'm just like, you are okay.
Thank you. Next.
Literally, there's an invisible label above your head saying "Good time boy." Good time boy. Cool. Do you know what I mean? It's not to be.
Do you know what it is, guys? I have to say, it doesn't happen to because it's happened to one person in a situation does not mean that it will happen to you. I'm just saying it gives you an indication of that person's capability, and if they are capable of it, the thing is. Let's be real. Everybody is capable of something, and everybody is capable of. Let's even go to the extreme. Everybody is capable of murder, right? It does not mean that we go around. It does not mean most of us, 50% of us, go around on the jolly killing people. You feel? But everybody is capable of it. So your circumstance and your situation may change or may reflect that. But don't be going into a situation thinking that because of you, sweetheart, he's gonna change or he's not going to administer, reflect, show that capability. Does that make sense? So it's just something to be mindful of because it allows you. So it's like don't like my thing is like if you decide that okay, all the other characteristics of this person adds up very well and gives you a well-rounded number, though he has been capable of certain ish in the past, maybe it is worth a try, and maybe he won't do that to you. But my thing is just don't be shocked like, oh, you
I
cheated
didn't
on
see this
me.
coming.
You cheated on me after you cheated on your ex, and then you know what I mean. It's like don't be surprised. So, going back to self-sabotage, it's just kind of like I'm not saying limit your expectations, and I get why people self-sabotage in that sense, but it is just kind of like know who you're going for, know yourself, know about yourself, in order to not portray those negative qualities within an environment or in a relationship. And it's like you kind of have to have the best interest for yourself at heart, because if you don't, then you will self-sabotage. Like, and it's like you don't know what you want, you don't know what you have, you don't know what you're getting, and all of this is communication. They can easily be solved by communication and self-reflection.
I feel like when it comes to self-sabotage in relationships, the reasons sometimes, especially if you don't realize that it's happening, it's so important to kind of like, I think, communicate these things to people outside of just yourself. So even if you can afford a therapist, then my child, please get a therapist. But I think talking to your friends, again, like I think I mentioned before in the previous podcast, Case of the Ex, I think being able to talk to people you trust about these kinds of issues can help you work through them in the best way, in the most healthy way, because these people know you best. And hopefully if you have good friends, they are going to be looking out for you and be like, actually, yes, girl, you're doing too much. You're thinking too tough. It's not that deep. This person actually cares about you and you're moving mad. Not him, you. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes you need to be told by your friends, no, you're just thinking too much. Like, I know we love to, say men are trash. Really and truly, guys, sometimes the people who are trash will be the one looking at you in the mirror. It's yourself. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I have to, no.
I thought I was savage.
I really said what I said. So
that was all kind of pains right there.
I can't even lie. I would call myself out every day of the week. Like, I feel like sometimes there's definitely been situations where I self-sabotage because I didn't feel like I was
definitely
worth
called
it.
you up on that. I have definitely.
Yeah, no, you have. You definitely have.
Definitely.
And I feel like, it's taken me a couple more years on top of that to learn. But hey, we're here now. We live in. We're trying to grow up.
A good support system, which I've been saying for like decades. But the thing is, people focus so much on their like relationship, their future, you forget to focus on your support system, and that's just as important. Them relationships are just as important, or even sometimes more important, in terms of getting you to where you need to get. Yes, that's the person you're going to end up with at the end of the day, and it's going to be better for worse, whatever, apparently, but but it's like your support system are those that are able to help you jolly or step up along the way. And if you haven't got that foundation of a good support system in place first before you try to venture out on your own to Jake, Jack and Harry, like, it's, I think it was Tom, Dick and Harry, whatever. Anyway, before you start to venture out to there and like you realize you're an island, you need to kind of build that. So you need to focus on that for a little bit, and that's what your younger years are for. I'm not saying you can't build them up in your older years, but there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah. I feel like it's actually I feel like that would be a great topic for another podcast, actually, how to kind of like build how to sort of like find, if you don't have one, a good support system, because I think it's something that as young women growing up, and even for people who in our world now, you're constantly meeting new people and you're constantly meeting new friends, and I think you're constantly learning what it is to not only have a good friend but to be a good one as well. So I think that's a great topic to talk about at another time. I think for now, aside from just talking about relationships and where people self-sabotage in those, even when it comes to work opportunities, doing our work on time, adding someone in particular here, when it comes to doing work on time, I feel like sometimes we know how capable we are of doing things, but then we put things off and sabotage in that way by doing things like procrastination, holding my own hand up,
I am a big procrastinator.
Putting things off. Like just saying, actually, no, I can't be bothered, handing over projects that we can do by ourselves and handing them to other people, even though we have all the skills available, like not applying to jobs that are really our worth, not applying for those promotions. Like there's a lot of times we self-sabotage other than just in relationships. And I think it's very important to have a strong self-awareness to know when you're doing shit that's blocking you from your own blessings.
Right. We need to round up, but I'm just gonna be like real clear in terms of that. For me, I don't self-sabotage my own progression. What I know that I need in order to achieve some things in my life is pressure. So I create my own pressure. Therefore, I procrastinate until it's a dire situation.
Oh my days.
My essay, or do you know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah, but some people work.
I
Some
will
people
never
work good under pressure.
I work very well under pressure.
Yeah, so then that's fine.
I'm very good under a time restraint or a schedule. For me, that's how I work. If I'm like, I've got ample time, I will lollygag, I will procrastinate, I will do everything under the sun. If the chimneys need cleaning, I will clean them. And like, if I have an FAQ in 3 days and I don't feel like that's enough pressure for me, and the damn near chimneys need cleaning, I'll do that. Like, even though I have not thought about it for the last year, it's today that I will do that thing. And like, I procrastinate so much. It's really bad, I must admit, because if I gave myself more time, I definitely feel I would do a better quality of work.
Yeah.
However, my brain just kind of works under pressure, and it's like it doesn't focus for long periods of time unless I have a time restriction or I feel the pressure in some way, shape or form. So that's personally me. However, I would never part off my work to anyone else. If anything, I take on most things on my own, things that I should delegate and things that I should give to other people to do. I would just quite happily do them, because I feel like my quality is my quality, my standard is my standard. And no offense to anybody else, I kind of don't really feel like your quality is up to my quality. I feel more reassured in my own quality than I do someone else's, especially if it is to add value to myself.
Shout out to Chardz work colleagues.
Especially if it's to add value to myself. So I'm going personal now. So if it's something that I need to achieve for me, I most prefer to kind of do it on my own and know that I've done it on my own, as opposed to everyone else's input. But that's just the way I work. Like I work very autonomously in that, so I know what I am capable of. Whatever the result is, I know that it's wholly mine, as opposed to mine, Barbara's, Tom's, do you know what I mean?
I think, what's it called, but just to like round off, I guess, because we're getting to the end of the actual show, I guess just to round up in terms of sort of like reminding yourself to stop, I guess, self-sabotaging, what other kinds of like tips or like take-home message you would have for either yourself or someone else? And I'd like to start with you, Fee.
I knew you were coming. I can't think on the spot. I find it
That's
difficult.
not my problem.
Wow, thanks.
Love you.
I think I'll go back to what I said in the beginning. Insecurities, letting go of the past, and just enjoying the moment. So that involves like just being self-aware, enjoying the moment. Whether you come and go, whether you're there or not, why does that make a difference? I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. I will say, you need to self-reflect. Deal with your ish. Deal with your shit, for the love of God. Stop.
Deal with your shit, naive.
Stop waiting for pills to deal with it for you. Stop waiting for family members to deal with it for you. Stop waiting for the world to just hand it to you on a silver platter. Self-reflect, dive into your situation and work that shit out. Sometimes you gotta dig from the bottom in order to get a flat foundation. Dig deep and deal with your ish. Don't just pile it under the rug. Deal with your shit. A little deeper. Especially before you go into a next relationship. And please don't try by dealing with your shit. Try not to bleed on those who have not hurt you.
Fair enough. I think my take-home message for this would be, if you feel like you identify with any of the behaviours that we've talked about today, it's really about going back and doing that self-work, as the girls have mentioned, but also kind of going back to your support system as long as you have one. Or you can DM us if you feel like you can speak to us openly. it's about trying to talk to someone who you feel can probably best tell you about yourself, or at least remind you how much you deserve better, whether it be with regards to a relationship, your job, and other sort of things that you're sort of like working towards in your life. Because at the end of the day, I think the reasons why people self-sabotage is because they are in some way unaware of how much better they could have it, and in some way they may feel they might not even deserve it. So I guess that would round off our show for today, guys. It's been great. Thank you so much for listening in on the 92 Diaries. As usual, our socials are we're on Instagram at 92.diaries, at Twitter at 92 Diaries, and also on Facebook at 92 Diaries as well. And our individual Instagram pages are also listed on our actual main Instagram page. So just saying, follow that, like that, click that, all that good stuff. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube. You hit follow and all that kind of stuff on Spotify as well, and all of the other pages. And yeah, have a great
see you
night.
at the next time.
Indeed a Rooney. Indeed a Rooney. Have a blessed evening, guys.
Take care and goodbye.